when I was 8 years old, my mom asked me, what do I want to be when I grow up? And I said, I want to be a detective. So my mom and my friends laughed at my cuteness. Now when I grew up, this question took many different forms. What is your passion? What is your identity? What do you want to study? What are your value systems and so on? And I did not have a good answer to give. It made me really, really anxious of who I'd become because I did not know what I wanted to do with myself, what my future looked like. I had no clarity at all. Now, when you are growing up in your 20s or 30s, you're faced with different forms of questions like these, and probably you don't have an answer. And then you have the sense of, anxiousness and fear of failure, of fear of missing out. You feel like everybody around you has figured out what they want to do in life, and you're just sitting twiddling your thumbs, not knowing, what your starting point is, right? And you don't know what to do with yourself. I was no different. And what most of us do during situations like these is we follow what's called the blueprint for life, right? You follow what everyone else is doing around you. They're all probably doing their engineering or medicine or going outside of India. That sometimes seems like the safest thing to do, right? Especially when you don't know what you want to do. And you're hoping for a happy ever after ending, and maybe you arrive in life after just doing what everyone else is doing. So like I said, I'm no different. I belong to a South Indian family. Back in the day, you could either be an engineer or you could be a doctor, or at least you run the risk of being this Nobel family. That was not a clear choice for me. So I chose engineering because that seems like the safest thing to do, and that's what all of my friends around were doing. So I chose engineering. And once I joined as a young and ambitious woman, when I joined engineering, I wanted to reach the top, right? I wanted to work for the Amazons and the Microsofts and all these other high-tech companies, and I worked really hard for those 4 years. And I had pictured this life of what my life was going to look like 4 years from now and 10 years from now, and I wanted to be one of these high executives, like all suited up, having these important conversations on how technology is going to disrupt life, and I wanted to be the person making these big changes in the world. And 4 years went by in a flash after I completed engineering. I started off my career at a top-tier job, pretty good salary package, and I thought I'd arrived in life. I followed the blueprint for life. I started off, I had a great start in my career. And then 1 year into the job, I felt miserable. I couldn't find myself there, and less than a year I quit. And not that something's wrong with having a corporate career as a start. It just wasn't for me, and I couldn't find myself. Now, the downside to quitting something that you worked for 5 years, 7 years is that you don't know what to do next. You find yourself in a state of utter frenzy because you don't know what to start and purpose again. So that's where I was miserable. And you'll all realize, hopefully some of you, is when you're in a state of frenzy, and for some really weird reason, doing an MBA is the answer to all the life crises. So you say, okay, I'm going to go to my master's, I'm going to take some time off, and I'm going to figure it out. But the reality is, a lot of us are stalling these questions on, what is my passion, what is my identity, what is it that I'm set out to doing with my life. Now, when I look back, right, I changed my career so many times. I've done my master's twice, all with the hope of finding that one moment where I can say, hey, this is my passion, this is what I want to do, this is my identity, and I'm going to go reach the top of the summit. And I did that change for 10 years, and none of that happened, right? And from the outside world's perspective, it seems like I had a great start, but something inside me said, this is not who I am, this is not what I meant to do, I want to do different things, but I did not know what is it that I want to do. So this idea, this romanticized idea of finding one passion and one identity maybe is wrong, especially in our current generation where, we are told the world is an oyster, and there's so many choices out there, and you can be anything that you want to be. And sometimes you don't make that one choice because you're worried that you're going to give up on these other 5 choices or 10 choices that are probably equally exciting and which will probably give you a better outcome. So there's this choice paralysis that happens and you don't make a decision at all, and you're probably when you are still waiting for a better option to show up, or maybe waiting for your passion to show up. Now, what if I say that the idea of finding one passion is really, really flawed? Now, research says that there are 2 types of passion. One is harmonious passion, and the other one is obsessive passion. Now, harmonious passion is the actual internalization of who you are, which is you know your value systems and you find something which is a true extension of your soul and a true extension of who you are. The obsession passion, what that means is that you're so good at what you do that you become obsessive about the outcome, the high that you get about completing a job or making those, hitting those numbers. That you're obsessed with, and that's obsessive passion. Now, some of us may not have a harmonious passion, rather an obsessive passion. So what do? For them, I invite them to be passionate about interaction and develop something called interaction passion. A passion for interacting with things that they're curious about without caring what will actually happen in the end or where those interactions will take you. It could be a guitar class, a street photography, or that coding class, or the robotics project, or belly dancing, right? Like whatever it is that you're curious about and excited about, just go try it and interact with it. And once you start interacting with all these interactions around you, you will build a growth collective of all these interactions that will ultimately shape you to the person that you want to be. And this is what I mean when I say go find your slash. So which is slash is about all these avatars that you can develop for yourself. Be an artist slash, blogger slash, yoga enthusiast, any slash that you want to be. Especially when you don't know what is that one thing that you want to do, go be 10 things, go be 20 things, and create your growth collective and collective of all these interactions that will give you a unique perspective. Now, let me give you an example. If you want to be a successful wildlife photographer, you need to understand wildlife slash ecology slash art slash tech slash zoology, so many things. So when you don't know what you want to do, why don't you go do 10 things? Because all these unique perspectives and experiences that you've collected gives you a unique lens to any nature of work that you choose. And those experiences are so unique to you that make the outcome of your work unique as well. So go collect all these slashes just so that it gives you a more well-rounded personality and thinking. Now, when you think about the idea of one passion or one identity, we develop a tunnel vision. We think, hey, this is who I want to be 5 years from now, or this is who I want to be 10 years from now, or this is where I think my life is going to be, and that's how I'm going to design it, and I'm going to start designing it from today. The reason this is not such a good idea, and the reason I say this is because all of us change every single year, every month. We change as human beings. You're 17 today, when you're 27, you're not the same person. The people that you hang out with, the city that you're living in, the interactions that you have with colleagues, everything is going to be so different because the environment is going to shape you. The drive to work, or this random person that you met on a plane, or your roomie in the university, a personal loss or a heartbreak, all these experiences are going to change. Technology is changing. The jobs that you're aiming for or aspiring for may not even exist 10 years from now. So it is very important that we embrace the ever-changing nature of you as a person, and that you are going to change. So there is no idea of following one direction or one path, and it's important that we have these multitude of opportunities and identities, and we just become really, really vital because we're all going to change, and we can connect the dots at some point. Now, all of us here, right, want extraordinary outcomes. We cannot settle for ordinary. But the real question is, how many of us here are willing to take that extra step or make that extra sacrifice for that extraordinary outcome? Because if everybody wants an extraordinary outcome, who is going to be ordinary? None of us, right? So it takes something extra to be extraordinary. The question is, you have that in you. And in my opinion, interacting with things around you and building your slash is a way to get that extraordinary outcome. And then if you look at also success, right? Rather than other people who spoke. Success for a lot of people, especially in entrepreneurship, your next success is 10 years. So how many of us are here willing to wait that extra time and give that extra hours for this extraordinary outcomes? Now, if you look at the famous Steve Jobs, right? He's probably one of the greatest minds in design, in product design. But nobody talks about this journey, which is probably a decade or 2 decades long, is actually making that genius. You know, that calligraphy class that he went to in his teens or early 20s, or the physics class that he took, or the hippie trip that he made to India. These are the unique experiences that you're collecting, which actually becomes a part of your identity and gives you that personality to build and think differently and build unique things. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is, you know, in this chase for perfection, right? There's so much beauty in perfection. We're always wanting to look for a perfect outcome, perfect job, perfect career. Maybe there's a little bit of room for some noise. And that noise and that frustration is what is actually going to push you to explore new things and explore new possibilities. And as Steve Jobs said, when you connect the dots, you don't look forward, you actually look backward. And that's how you connect the dots. Where all the things that you have done can start piecing together, it's only when you look backwards. Now, if you're sitting on the sidelines, if there is a project that you want to do, or if there is a trip that you want to make, or go volunteer somewhere, just do it, because there's never a good time to do it. And 10 years from now, you're probably going to regret about the things that you actually did do than the things that you actually did. So the best time is now, and there's never a good time to be doing this. Go start creating today, because what you create today might end up creating you tomorrow. So go collect those dots, start interacting with things, and move with your master.